Have you ever encountered the Men in Black? According to legend, there's a secretive government organization in the United States whose members wear black suits and hats. Whenever a UFO sighting occurs, they quickly arrive at the scene, intimidate the witnesses, and sometimes even abduct them. Some people claim that the Men in Black brainwash them, causing them to lose their memories completely. The movie Men in Black is inspired by this story. The image of the Men in Black is widely recognized, thanks to an extraordinary individual who was a nuclear physicist, chemical engineer, member of the French resistance during World War II, spy, and more. His life was nothing short of legendary. He thwarted Germany's plan to attack the Allies with V-2 rockets during World War II and held patents for nuclear battery and electronic cooling technologies. A true polymath, he is often considered the godfather of conspiracy theories. Today, we will explore one of his most significant legacies, the legend of the Men in Black. First, it's important to clarify that he didn't entirely create the image of the Men in Black. Rather, he summarized and expanded upon it. After World War II, his life wasn't going well. His career was in decline, and his social status was unstable. However, just when this failed alchemist, steadfast anti-fascist fighter, and successful Allied super spy who had reversed the course of World War II thought his life was over, he casually wrote a book. The movie was a hit, sequels were made, and most people likely went on with their lives without thinking much more about it. His friends and family said he saw ufology as a joke and published his books for the money. Doty admitted he inserted himself into the UFO conspiracy community to fuel their imaginations about classic tropes, including Area 51, abductions, and sightings of little green men. In other words, the story of the Men in Black was not originally his creation. He started writing such works in 1959, but sightings of the Men in Black can be traced back to June 1947, when an incident occurred near Maury Island in Puget Sound, near Seattle, USA. Harold Dahl and his son were salvaging logs on a fishing boat when they saw 6 donut-shaped crafts flying above them. Before Dahl could make sense of what he was seeing, one of the objects fell from the sky, dropping a barrage of metallic debris. When these objects floated down, he realized that the so-called paper was actually thin metal sheets like tin foil. Additionally, some volcanic rock-like debris hit his boat, breaking his son's arm and killing his dog. This is the famous Maury Island incident. Dahl managed to take some pictures of the aircraft with his camera, which he later showed to his supervisor, Fred Chrisman. A few days later, after discussing the events with his boss and friends, he was visited by a mysterious man dressed in all black. Shortly after, the military got involved in the investigation. It was reported that 2 investigators, Lieutenant Frank Brown and Captain William L. Davidson, collected some metal debris from the scene, but their B-25 plane crashed on the way back, killing both men. People would definitely speculate that they were assassinated by the Men in Black, right? Indeed. Albert K. Bender, who had organized an international flying saucer bureau, was also targeted. He managed to retrieve some debris, but it looked like ordinary metal foil and did not match the witness's description. This led to doubts about the authenticity of the entire event. The so-called UFO seemed very similar to a weather balloon. How can you tell? Well, first of all, donuts have a central hole shape which isn't that different from the shape of a weather balloon. Secondly, the object exploded, scattering metal strips that resembled tin foil, much like a weather balloon explosion. And what about the volcanic rocks? Why would a weather balloon be filled with large stones? They usually use sandbags for ballast, so these might just be stone-like objects. Who knows what it was? All right, let's not argue about that. After this incident, there was a huge stir, leading to mass confusion and numerous other reported sightings. Following the news of the captain discovering alien spacecraft debris, sightings of the Men in Black increased in the following years. For instance, in 1967, a man named Robert Richardson claimed he hit a UFO with his car. No, he wasn't driving a flying car from Harry Potter. He claimed the UFO was on the road. After the collision, it vanished into thin air, leaving behind a piece of metal. Richardson's account continued with him being visited by the men in black, who took the metal fragment and threatened him, saying if he wanted to keep his wife's pretty face intact, he should keep his mouth shut. Was he high? Probably hit something on the roadside and then fled the scene like hitting a trash can or something. But Richardson insisted on his story. The men in black are often seen as thugs. This sighting incident took place after our beloved anti-fascist warrior, alchemist, spy, nuclear physicist, and chemist had written his monumental conspiracy theory works. Before Jack's influential books became popular, the men in black were merely described as government agents dressed in black, without much distinctive characterization. However, after Jack's works gained popularity, their image became more specific. In his books, the men in black are depicted in black suits, black ties, black hats, black shoes, black socks, and black sunglasses, with their shirts being strikingly white. As previously mentioned, he was born in Odessa, Ukraine, and spent his youth fighting against Nazi Germany, becoming an expert on the Third Reich. Consequently, it's not surprising that the government agents in his writings have a strong uniform fetish. However, the legend of the men in black soon took a bizarre turn. On September 11, 1976, Dr. Herbert Hopkins, a UFO researcher, received a phone call. The caller claimed to be a member of a New Jersey UFO research organization and requested a visit to review his research findings. As soon as Hopkins provided his address, the doorbell rang. When he opened the door, he saw a tall man in a suit, bald, with no eyebrows or eyelashes. The man's skin was smooth and pale like rubber, with a strange gleam, and his lips were blood red. His voice was robotic, lacking inflection or rhythm. The man then took out a coin and asked Dr. Hopkins to watch it. The coin quickly changed from copper to silver in his hand, then started bubbling and disintegrated, eventually disappearing. So the man brought a fizzy coin, right? An effervescent coin, perhaps? This account raises questions. Could the visitor have been a bionic man? If the men in black organization can create bionic men, why do they make them with skin like oversized novelty toys? And what's with the bright red lips? Does the organization not have other lipstick shades? Why choose such an eye-catching color? They might as well have gone with a garish Barbie pink. As the legend grew, their choice of vehicles also became standardized, with them typically driving black vintage Cadillacs. Their appearance was often described as bald, without eyelashes or eyebrows, and with bright red lips, somewhat reminiscent of Agent 47 from the Hitman series. Over the years, the image of the men in black has continued to develop and diversify beyond its original concept. For instance, on October 14, 2008, near Niagara Falls in Ontario, Canada, 2 hotel staff members reported seeing a massive triangular UFO. Shortly after, 2 men in black arrived, and this time, their images were captured by the hotel's surveillance cameras. The 2 employees who witnessed the event were the hotel manager and a security guard. Following the incident, the investigation team for aerial phenomena contacted them and began an investigation. This group specializes in examining UAPs, which stands for Unidentified Aerial Phenomena. This term has replaced UFO, or Unidentified Flying Object, as many supposed extraterrestrial sightings turn out to be natural or man-made atmospheric phenomena like sundogs, contrails, or crown flashes. The hotel staff described them as wearing black suits, ties, shoes, socks, hats, and sunglasses. Most notably, their faces were identical. One female staff member even claimed she felt as if they could read her thoughts. The 2 strange men arrived at the hotel and asked to meet the 2 witnesses, the hotel manager and the security guard. Coincidentally, both witnesses were not present at the time. According to the hotel staff who interacted with the men, they were dressed in black suits, black ties, black shoes, black socks, black hats, and black sunglasses. The staff described the men as having very large eyes, pale skin, no hair, no eyebrows, and no eyelashes. Clones, perhaps? That's what the hotel staff suggested. Like Professor X? These men in black remind me of Mr. X from Resident Evil. You might be right. Capcom could have drawn inspiration from the men in black for that character. Do you think that video footage is real? I believe it's authentic because there's no sign of tampering, especially considering the 2008 technology wasn't advanced enough to easily fake such footage. However, the video itself doesn't prove much. All I see are two tall individuals entering the hotel. Yes, they are slightly taller than average, but what does that prove? They could be anyone, even actors hired by the hotel for marketing purposes. The video only shows two people dressed a bit oddly. Nothing extraordinary. Of course, we can't completely rule out the possibility that they are the so-called men in black. But the likelihood of that is about as high as the chance of a magical girl living under my bed who only comes out when I'm asleep. This doesn't sound like you being so objective. While I do believe in the existence of aliens, I remain highly skeptical of 99% of so-called mysterious events. Take this video, for instance. If two people dressed like that walked around in public in 2008, they would certainly attract a lot of attention. If the men in black were truly secret agents of the US government, as conspiracy theories suggest, why would they dress so conspicuously? It might have made sense in the 1950s, but decades later, still dressing like that seems more like cosplay. The origin of the men in black image is quite intriguing. It's widely believed that their appearance was influenced by McCarthyism, which sparked widespread fear and suspicion of Soviet spies across American society during the late World War II period. If you've seen Oppenheimer, you'll know that even before the war ended, the US had already started guarding against the Soviet Union. In 1947, President Truman issued Executive Order 9835, which required government employees' loyalty to be scrutinized. If there was any suspicion of disloyal activities, the employee would be dismissed. It was somewhat of a witch hunt. During this period, FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover initiated the Responsibilities Program, using illegal means to investigate government employees and secretly spread unverified results. This led to the dismissal of many teachers, lawyers, and public employees without cause, including some World War II heroes. For example, in 1953, Robert Oppenheimer, the scientific director of the Manhattan Project and consultant to the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission, was stripped of his security clearance. During this time, numerous men in black stories began to circulate among the American public, reflecting their fear and confusion about the high-pressure environment. In those days, FBI and CIA agents were often seen in black suits, and government vehicles were typically Cadillacs, Chevrolets, or Lincolns. This made it easy to associate such attire and vehicles with authority. Then, a peculiar individual emerged, adding a twist to the narrative: the Allied spy we mentioned earlier. The black suits and government cars like Cadillacs, Chevrolets, and Lincolns made the connection to the men in black quite believable. However, a remarkable individual emerged during this time and dramatically altered the narrative. This Allied spy wrote extensively about the men in black, transforming them from symbols with political connotations into purely science fiction or fantasy. Various sources suggest he even traced their history back to ancient Greece in his works. Since his writings were all in French and my French is limited to basic phrases like hello, sorry, and goodbye, I couldn't verify the original text about the men in black in ancient Greece. Based on what I have read, it wouldn't surprise me if he did, as his imagination was boundless. His books, whether intentionally or not, significantly contributed to the explosion of conspiracy theories in the US over the past several decades, leading to the current overwhelming situation. A 2014 study by the University of Chicago found that half of the American public believed in at least one conspiracy theory. By November 2018, this proportion had risen to 61%. Some Americans even believe that all birds have long been extinct and that every bird you see is actually a government-controlled surveillance device. The legend of the Men in Black is deeply entrenched and widely circulated in American society. It appears this was not intentional, given that his works were all written in French and published in France. Even before Rack's remarkable book was released, conspiracy theories already had a significant following worldwide. Interestingly, one of the earliest claimed Men in Black encounters also comes from 1947, but not from Roswell. His book provided conspiracy theorists with a more organized framework. Some people already had certain beliefs and were just waiting for someone to help them solidify their ideas. These individuals often struggle to accept harsh realities. In other words, conspiracy theories attempt to deny facts that many believe are the truth. Our main character certainly did, as he tried to distance himself from his conspiracy theory works in his later years. Unfortunately, he didn't succeed. When you search for his name, the initial results are all related to conspiracy theories. You have to dig deep to find his other life achievements. He was a nuclear physicist, chemical engineer, member of the French resistance during World War II, spy, concentration camp survivor, alchemist, journalist, and writer. None of these titles remained. In the end, he was only known as a fringe science expert. One wonders if he ever thought that after accomplishing so much in his life, conspiracy theories would be his only legacy. Sometimes life is just full of surprises. Alright, that's all for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please share your thoughts in the comment section. Have a great day, and see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel.